Florida man here. Trevor Tucker has no evidence of God, just bad arguments. Who's Trevor Tucker? This dude. Yeah. Who's this dude? I don't know. Some guy. I don't know. I just found him, you know. He has a 5-minute and 14-second video, so we're going to be here for at least 5 hours analyzing it. It is usually what I would say, but somebody did my job for me. Yes, Jan, there's no way in the world I'm possibly going to pronounce that name right. What the bleep? Hold on. Trying to zoom in. Wnogu. Wnugu. Whatever. So, yeah, I'm going to play the video. But first, I'm going to read this comment. Because, like I said, it did my job for me. So, he's taking away my job, man. He doesn't even have any videos on his channel, and he's doing the work for me. Great job, Jan. There's no way I'm pronouncing your last name correctly ever in the entire universe. Wnugu! Maybe that is the right way to pronounce the name. I don't know. As usual. As usually. Well, he should have said as usual. Whatever. As usually, a bunch of religious propaganda and non-arguments. Ah, yes. Starting off spicy. I like it already. Timestamps. Yes, there's evidence that sadly some mothers actually do it to their children. So this argument, in quotes, is absurd. Also, if your relatives show you love every day, the likelihood of such event drops by a lot. You can see every day that your loved ones care about you. You don't see God at all unless you are mentally ill, that is. Okay, so, again, we'll play the video. So right now you don't know what this is in reference to. Good morning, Blaster Master 80. I saw a clip of your cartoon on TikTok or YouTube or something. I don't even know what it was. I was like, hey, or not your cartoon. Video game. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a video game. Whatever. And you distracted me. So, if this stream is ruined, it's your fault. No. So, yeah, in the video, he's like, you can't prove that your mom's gonna not kill you. Or some ludicrous statement like this that is completely incoherent. And we need to get to the response to this first point here because it's great. I love it. It's just so good. So, number one, he didn't make the claim that no mothers will kill their children because he says, that you can't prove that they won't. He said, what I said is you cannot prove that your mother won't kill you. Yeah, I guess you can't prove that. Just like you can't prove that God is real. Well, there you go. Full stop. We don't need to watch your video. You can't have evidence or something because that you can't prove is real, because if you had evidence, then you do have proof that it's real. So either you don't have evidence and thus you can't prove it's real, or you do have evidence and you can prove that it's real. So which is it? See, you don't have evidence. Because if you have evidence, then you can prove that God is real. So you say, no, you can't prove God is real. It's just like you can't do this other thing. So you can't prove that your mom won't kill you. So therefore, it's very much like you can't prove that God doesn't exist, or that God does exist for that matter. There's many things that you can't prove, see? So it's okay to not have something that you can't prove. Is the implication here. However, for most people, I speak in general terms that I have specified every small exception, there's evidence to support that God exists and evidence to support your mother won't kill you. So wait, so there is. So you can't prove that God is real, but there is evidence that God exists and evidence to support your mother won't kill you. So you can't prove it, but there's evidence for it. But evidence gets you, that is the proof. That you don't know what these words mean, I think. I guess I don't know. Because when you prove something, that's it, you're done. So if you have evidence, that the evidence in and of itself should be the proof of the thing that you're, it's just like, oh my goodness, I don't know. I don't know. What did he call his video? Did he call it evidence? Right. And he says that God exists, so then that would be proof of God. So he's not saying proof of God, it's evidence of God. But these are the evidence of God. These are evidence of the evidence that you're putting out there is first in the first moment is non-evidence, because you're saying, well, you can't prove this or that. Okay. And that's not evidence. You're saying a lack of evidence, or having no evidence means is fine, because in situation X, Y, and Z, we don't have evidence, so it's okay. But no, it's actually, we do have evidence, but you can't prove these things. You can't prove that your mom won't kill you, but you can have evidence that your mom won't kill you. Yeah, but then if your mom did kill you, then all the evidence doesn't matter, does it? So it's just ridiculous nonsense. Wesley Curry, the bot, is in my chat. I love this guy. This guy, I just, yeah, just to derail from my own video here. Wesley Curry 2 is a robot. I'm convinced fully this guy is a robot. I tried to get him into a normal talk, and I almost had him. I was like, hey, can we talk normally? Because I was in chat room, mode. And I'm like, just a normal person. How is your day going? Like, where are you from? I said, I'm from California. And then he told me where he lived, not where he was from. And then he went right back into robot mode, where he just talks about, like, he yells at people with capital letters, saying things like this, those of us who know Jesus is God, believe in him, are taught by him to have nothing to do with your Islam style of arguments. I'm not making an Islam style of anything, you nitwit. I'm not Islamic. I don't believe in Allah or Islam, you weird robot, you. So, yeah. You're tempting that I must prove to you Jesus is God. Yes, I'm tempting you. These are incoherent statements that only a robot could make. This is a robot. This is an AI. It's not a real person. This person doesn't exist. They are a robot. Wesley is a robot. If you see him in your chat, just do what I do. Be like, that's nice. Good robot. Good job, robot. One day, I hope, one day, that won't be today or any day in the future, but one day, I do hope that Wesley will join me or live and talk like a human to me. I don't think he ever will, and I don't think he can, because I think he's a robot. Now, if he proves me wrong, that'd be great. And then I could just rename this video into My Talk with Wesley. I could ask him, why do you believe what you believe? What good do you think that you're doing in the world by going into atheist chat rooms and spewing the things that you spew? Do you think that that's impacting anybody at all? Do you think that that's going to change anybody's mind? Have you actually had any success with this methodology? All sorts of questions that I would ask him. But again, he's a robot, so it's not going to happen. He's never going to do that. He's never going to email me, which is deconvertedman, the number 1 at gmail.com, deconvertedman1 at gmail.com. He could email me, set up a time and day, and we'll do it, but he's not gonna, because he's a robot. Anyways, okay, tangent. All right, sorry, he distracted me. All right, back to this insanity. All right, so the insanity at hand. So we have evidence, but we don't have proof. So we don't have proof that your mom won't kill you, but we have evidence that your mom won't kill you. But then if your mom does kill you, then the evidence didn't matter. I don't know. So I guess you could say you could have evidence for God, but then in the end, if you don't have proof of God, what does it really matter? So if we're going to do that, Oh, he talks about where the universe comes from. How you can't, energy doesn't begin to exist. Energy, it can't be created or destroyed. So how did it come into existence then? What started it? This question. Well, if it's always been, then nothing started it. It's just always been. There you go. You can't ask the question of how it came into being if it's always been. It's equivalent to your God if you're saying that your God has always been. If you posit that your God entity has always existed, then I guess your God is equivalent to energy in that sense. Um, and maybe it is. Maybe God is energy. Okay, cool. But it's not an entity that can think, feel, reason, or make coherent arguments. Oh, sorry, I was laughing at Wesley being a robot. He got mad. Oh, don't call me a robot. You're a robot. All right. So, all right. So yeah. So energy can't be created or destroyed, but that's true for the universe that we have. So before there was a universe, if even that statement makes any sense, because if there is no before, you know, you just have you don't have moments because you have no time, and then you have time, you know, there is no before. So however you want to conceive of that, you know, you're asking this question, and you're doing so from a point of philosophy, not a point of scientific endeavor. And philosophy is nice if you want to think about, you know, various things. It's, you know, like, hey, if I put cat in microwave, is that a good idea or a bad idea? What would Plato say about cat and microwave? Would he say that the microwave has a true form of a microwave that's outside of the cave? And you know, what would Aristotle say? You know, and what would Kant say? And you know, whatever. You know, you just, you know, nasal gazing, right? But science is really good at saying, you know what, that's nice. Let's just look at the data. Let's look at the math. And what they do is they do really complicated math. And they do that in regards to different physics equations, trying to figure out what the bleep's going on in the early universe. And then they can build computer models based on those mathematics, and they can build mathematical models, and they can make predictions, and they can test it and verify it in different ways. And it's all really great, complicated stuff. And you're going to come along and say, yeah, but how does any of that work? And they're like, look, you got a lot of school before you can even understand what I'm looking at. And even after that, who knows if you're going to understand it or not. Richard Feynman, one of the, you know, big, coolest, you know, quantum physicist dude, was like, yeah, if you think you understand quantum physics, you don't. Like, you don't. You don't. You're not going to get it, you know. And he knew it. He knew it really well, but you know. So I don't know that you can ask a philosophical question and get an answer that you can trust. That is to say, an answer that is actually really true in the real world. Okay? Now, I love informal logic, but informal logic has a limitation. So I want to build this for real one day, but I don't know if I don't know if I could. But yeah, okay. So I want you to imagine a wooden box with a switch on the side, and the wooden box is not, it's not solid. It's basically a base. Yeah, I could probably draw it in MS Paint. Why not? Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, because you know, then I don't have to be like, imagine, you know. And I know I'm not getting. It was like, get to the video, deconvertiment. No, we're doing this. Dang it! All right, nobody's complaining about that, so I'm complaining about that for them. Okay, so we have this like base here, okay, and then we're gonna have like a box shape object that's not a box because it doesn't have a bottom to it. I don't know what you call this shape. Actually, this is 3-dimensional. Obviously, I mean, you know, we're gonna have to pretend that I can draw 3D here. Okay, so and let's see if we can get this here. My mind decided, I realized I couldn't keep talking as I was making this. It's very difficult to talk and do something at the same time. barely walk and chew gum at the same time. Like I'm trying to make decisions on what I want to do. It's very difficult. Okay. So, yeah. Well, I didn't quite connect the. Well, actually, that wouldn't be there. It'd be down here, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right. Now I'm talking to myself. What am I doing to myself here? All right. I know. Just bear with me. I know it's a professional. I'm a YouTube professional. Okay. If this was edited, it'd all just pop into existence. If I planned any of this, it would all be done. But I didn't. All right. I know. It's great. That's why you come here. You love this. All right. So the switch. Okay. And then this is a light. Light. Okay. So the box, wooden box from the outside is obviously you can't see inside at all. And this is a real light. It actually does turn on and off, and you know that because I show you it, and then I cover it with the with this covering, and then I go, okay, well here's a logical argument. I say this is a valid and sound disjunctive syllogism. It's on. Okay, hold on. That was not enough room to write what I wanted to write because the words were too big, because the letters are too big. Here we go. So P1, light is on or off. P2, it's off. It's not on, actually. Conclusion, it's off, right? So there you go. Okay, so and if I switch the switch, and I showed you that in one position the light was on, and then in the other position, when it's up, it was on, and when it was down, it was off. Then I put this thing on there, and then I flip the switch down, and I say, is the light on or off? Because it's on or off. So which is it? And the answer is you don't know. That's the answer. Because even though logic is like, hey, it's either on or off, and I'm like, well, it's not on, so it must be off. But you don't know because you can't see through. You can't see if the light is on or off. I say, yeah, but in logic, I've made an argument, and the argument's completely valid and sound. If I'm telling you, but this premise 2, is the one that you're worried about. Because yes, you grant that it's a disjunctive syllogism. It's either on or off. There's no in between state. Even if it's very dim, it's still going to be on or off. Okay, so we're not worried about it being a dimmer or anything like that. Like it's too low. I can't see it. No, it's just on or off. Okay, it's not a trick. Is it on? Is it not on? That's the premise that we are saying we want to know in order to make the conclusion. And then hell, we don't, once we have that premise, we have our conclusion because we just go, hey, yeah, the damn thing's on or off because we can see it. We can verify it. But you can't. So the limit of logic is that you need to be able to see that this premise is really true. And in regards to the universe and how it began, or even if that is a thing or whatever, we don't bloody know, and we can't verify it at all. And even if you have an argument that you think is sound, and it, well, I haven't seen one that is, but even if you did, if you can't verify it, then it doesn't matter. So you need to be able to verify it. And there's something blocking your way from doing that. So that's the limitation that you're running up against when you go, well, but how did the energy get there? Maybe the energy was always there. We don't know. Maybe it got there because it felt like it. I don't, there's no way to answer this question. Because we're at our limit right now. Now, That doesn't mean we'll always be at that limit. Maybe we'll figure it out. But I don't believe, and yes, it's a belief, I don't believe that we can use philosophy, purely philosophy, to get us there. And in fact, I base that idea on the fact that plenty of times when we've used philosophy to try to get to an answer, it's been bloody wrong. It's just been completely wrong. All right. Let's see if I can find a video on this or not, because this blew me out of the water way back when, and so here's a slinky, and he's dropping the slinky, but it's fully extended, and I'm like, well, what will the slinky do? Well, it's gonna fall to the ground, right? Well, no, not exactly. It does fall, but it does something weird first. It does that first. Then it falls. Why is this part not falling down? It's like it's waiting for the rest of it to catch up before it falls down. It's like it's hovering in midair while it's waiting to catch up. Like, why does the whole thing just not fall all at once and stay extended? It is not the result that I would think would happen. That's just me. Maybe you knew ahead of time. Maybe you already saw it, but whatever. But using intuition and argumentation, there's bleeping no way that I would have ever gotten to that point. Okay? But so my point is, again, you can have, well, cause and effect, cause and effect. I see cause and effect all the time. So there has to be a cause to the energy of some sort. Well, just because we saw it every time doesn't mean that that's always going to be the case. And there's a famous fallacy called the black swan fallacy. Famous, infamous, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So the idea was, we've only ever seen white swans. There is no black swan. And then, well, damn, there's a black swan. Well, yeah. So there is a black swan. So we've only ever seen white swans. There could be a black swan. There could be. We've not seen it yet, but there could be one. So the saying that there is no black swan is a fallacy, because you don't have evidence that isn't, nor do you have any reason to say that isn't in the argument. You're just saying, well, all I've seen is white, so it can't ever have a black one. That's not logical. But that's based on inference, based on pattern recognition, based on, I've seen this thing over and over again. So I've seen over and over again that there's cause and effect. So something had to cause the energy. And of course, when you listen to the apologist, you'll hear special pleading every single time. Their God concept says, well, no, it actually breaks the rules. It is not anything that's caused. It's always existed. Wait a minute, why is it allowed to always exist? Why is it allowed to break the rules? And then they'll say things like, oh, it just has to be that way. Why? Why not stop with energy? If energy truly is neither created nor destroyed, if that is indeed the true nature of reality, then there you go. There is no cause to it. There is no effect of it. It just has always been. And so, as Carl Sagan said in Cosmos, why not save a step? Instead of positing that the universe has a cause, say that there is no cause, or we don't know. Or if you're saying that the thing that caused the universe has to be causeless, and here you have a thing, energy, that doesn't need a cause, well, there you go. There's your answer then. Now, it might not turn out to be the answer, because you're using philosophy, not science, to get to your answer. And worst of all, you won't know if you got the answer or not in truth, because you used philosophy instead of science. Because you didn't look at the data. You didn't compile the data. Or in my case, and in most people's cases, because we're not scientists ourselves, or at least not very good ones at any rate, maybe you're a better one than I am, probably are, that I have to rely on the methodology of science, not any individual from science, because they could be wrong, but the effort of it working as it should, the functionality of that process of peer review and the filtering mechanisms we have in place. And maybe those got tampered with. Maybe you have proof that happened and we need to fix it. That's possible. Sure. Blow that out of the water. Be a whistleblower on that if you have evidence of it. But saying, well, where did this come from, is in a sense, you're begging the question. You're assuming that there's an answer to the question. And then you're assuming the answer. And then you're assuming things about the assumption that you've made about the answer to assume more things. I don't know, we haven't even gotten to the damn video. All I'm doing is reading this guy's comment that responded to the video. Oh my word. I told you we're going to be here for 5 days. Didn't believe me. All right, where was I saying? All right, where was he? This is a great response. I love this person. Jan Wungu, I hope you're a girl that's single. They aren't. They're a guy or an FBI agent. There are no women on the internet that are single. There are women on the internet that are not single. And if they are, they're not interested in me. Then he does the complex, irreducibly complex nonsense, proving that he doesn't understand biology. If he makes it, eyes. Oh, the eye is it's irreducibly complicated. No, it's not irreducibly complex. Learn bloody evolution, okay? No, there is no. That's not. It's not a thing. Okay, there's a function for everything. It's just that you didn't see all those phases. Okay, so you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Learn science. If you make the statement, oh, eyes are irreducibly complex, no, you don't understand it. Go learn it. Okay. 300. No, I don't know. No, I don't know what he's talking about here because I have to play the video. I don't know. So I'm guessing that this is a probability thing where he says big number is improbable, therefore God, or some stupid thing like that. I'm betting that's what he does here. Doesn't matter. Numbers are irrelevant. Improbable things happen all the time. The fact that you and I are alive is insanely improbable in a way, but also actually very probable in another way. Depends how you do the math. You don't remember the doctor's name. Oh yeah, he mentioned some doctor in the video. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a proof from authority. So some doctor somewhere said something. He then actually provides the doctor's name. We'll get into that later. Evolution doesn't work by random chance. Well, evolution, random chance alone. No, there's a filtering mechanism. But yes, mutations are random. Evolution is guided by selective pressure. Yes, the filtering mechanism, as I call it. So again, this guy doesn't understand evolution, and that proves God somehow because he doesn't understand evolution. So I don't understand how this complicated thing works. Therefore, God. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. And then apparently tries to disprove the fact that planets form naturally in space. That's going to be interesting to get to that part of the video. So he doesn't understand cosmology and how planets form. God just popped all the planets into existence fully formed by magic. Sure, why not? What are your chances of God coming to existence by accident? Again, he's going to do some sort of stupid, the chances of planets forming are really low, as if he would know that. It's just copy and pasting from some apologetic website. Then he does a typical non sequitur. Wow, I'm looking forward to that. We know that people exist, presence exists, except the existence of a president isn't that far-fetched. But they tell the opposite of what a magical being is walking in water. Yeah, so he makes this non-argument about Jesus being a historical figure, just like we know that Abraham Lincoln exists. Yeah, but Abraham Lincoln didn't walk on fucking water, you know. Now there's a movie where Abraham Lincoln battles zombies. Now, I don't remember being taught this in history class, but it's a movie. I mean, a movie wouldn't lie about that. So obviously, the zombie fighting Abraham Lincoln really existed, right? Because I saw a movie where that happened. Or is it that I mistake the movie for reality for various reasons? So if it wasn't a movie, it's a book too. You know, Abraham Lincoln fought the zombies. Let's pretend that was a book. It probably is a book. So okay, we don't have to pretend. Probably, I don't know. I could look it up, but whatever. Okay, so you read it in a book, and the book is really old. Let's say it's 50, 100 years old, and it says Abraham Lincoln fought zombies, and you go, "Oh, I'm gonna believe that book because the book is historical because it's old." Well, it's old, sure, but you need to prove that Abraham Lincoln fought zombies. Proving Abraham Lincoln would also be nice, but forget about that. Prove that he fought the fucking zombies. Prove that zombies are a thing. Well, but it says it in the book, so it must have happened. You know, I mean, why else would they make the book or the movie? Yeah, it's super historical. Yeah, it's hysterical, more likely. And you know what's funny is, you know, somebody somewhere, we don't even know who, because it was all anonymous, wrote this stuff down. Now, by the time, and it is a long time between the events and the writing it down part, at least to the earliest writing. So we could subtract some time and shave it down to say maybe 10 years. 10 years. That's a long time. I don't know what the hell I was doing 10 years ago. There's no idea. I don't know what I was doing 10 minutes ago. But these stories would have been in circulation. Okay, these stories about this guy named Jesus and what he supposedly did would have been known by who? The followers. And maybe some non-followers who heard about it, but didn't, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I heard that's a thing that happened. Yeah, right, as they roll their eyes. Now this guy, and yeah, it's a guy. Somebody probably paid him, or maybe he was self-motivated. Don't know. Wanted to collect the stories and write them down. So let's just say he's a halfway decent, competent human. I don't know why I'm giving him so much leeway, but he goes around and he says, "Hey, Rochester Swift, there, you know." Oh wait, hold on. I got to read his comment. See, I was just trying to pull up his name. Now I have to read his comment. My proposition is we have to show how deities are created in the heads of believers to pull this nonsense to bed once and for all. That is an interesting idea. That will be like a different video. I've done stuff like that, but okay. But I say, Rochester, what have you heard about this Jesus fellow? And he's like, oh, these idiots are going around saying that he turned water into wine of all things. Did you hear that story? That's what I heard. I don't think he did it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Turn water into wine. I'm not going to write down that he said that he didn't think he did it. I'm going to write down the stuff that I want to keep. Because why would I include the other part, right? Or I could include, say, yeah, and some people didn't believe. Some people heard the story and didn't believe. I could put that as a note, maybe. But I collected that story, and I say, hey, Thomas Rutledge, who hasn't read Spinoza yet. That's okay. I don't even know who Spinoza is off the top of my head. Some philosopher or whatever. He spins around. That's all I know. He spins right round, baby, right round, like a record player. Right round, baby, right round. When you go down. But Spinoza, I don't care about. Just distracting myself. But I asked him, I go, hey, Thomas, you heard about Jesus? Oh, I love Jesus. Yeah. He healed that guy's leg. That was so amazing. Heard about it through my cousin's fourth, wife. Okay. That story goes in there. So I collect all these stories that have circulated. Maybe I heard some myself, so I write those down too. And then I go, I got to edit this. So I'm going to keep certain stuff. I'm going to get rid of other stuff. I'm going to keep the stuff that makes sense. I'm going to put it in some sort of chronological order, or at least some facsimile of it. And not everything's going to make it in. And I'm going to exaggerate, of course, because it's a story and I want my story to be popular. I want my story to be told. And that's how it happens. That's how it really happens. That's how stories are made. And it is a story. It isn't history. It is somebody somewhere made up or collected the made up stories about this person and wrote them down. For all I know, there was no story circulating at all. For all I know, some guy was bored one day and decided to write down and make up a whole bunch of shit and said, "Hey guys, have you read this?" "No, we can't read." "Oh, right, let me tell you about it. This thing says the guy that Jesus, blah, 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 did all this stuff." "Okay. When did he do this?" "Yeah, about 10 years ago." "Okay, well, sure, why not? Sounds good to me. Sign me up for that religion." Because they were all a bunch of doofuses who didn't know any better anyways. Religion was rampant in this time. Illiteracy was high. Ignorance abounded. Thankfully, we've done away with that in our modern day and age. Anyways. Yeah, following the same logic, comic books are proof of Spider-Man. Yeah, see, okay, so he did it for me. See, I told you, he made this video for me. I didn't even need to make... okay, so okay, then he goes into moral argument, and we've heard that, and yeah, it's just more bad arguments. There's no contradictions in the Bible. Genesis, I've seen God face to face, my life is preserved, but no man has seen God at any time. Well, but see, those are in different parts of the Bible. See, in Genesis, you could see God's face, but in John, you couldn't, so it doesn't count. Also, he saw Jesus, and hey, there's a tiger there. I want to see that video. Oh, no, don't get distracted. Okay, anyways. So bad arguments galore, bad arguments from top to bottom, and at last, now we know the bad arguments. So I guess I don't have to do the video, right? I mean, I mean, the guy said everything I'm going to say about the video, so I don't need to play the video and complain about it myself, do I? Yes, I do. All right, Spinoza's God. Oh, yeah. Spinoza. That's where I've heard that name. So Spinoza's God. Yeah, like Spinoza posited some version of God that's like, I don't know, some abstract thing that, makes stuff or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. But the thing is, that kind of goes to the question of, sorry, I was answering chat. So yeah, it's worth a video, perhaps, talking about Spinoza. What God is. And I was listening to Thomas Rutledge or whatever, I think, convince us that a God exists. They do that thing. And I couldn't, there's no way I could be in that panel because I would just go insane. This guy called in or joined in or whatever you want to call it. And he's like, "Oh, I want to talk about how atheists don't understand what God is." I'm like, "You don't even know what God is." I'm like, "Yeah, well, what do you what would convince you of God?" And they're like, "Well, this or that or whatever." And it's like, yeah, but how do you know that about God? Like, I don't, what is God? They're like, "Exactly. Aha, caught you. You don't know what God is, so you can't say that God isn't unless you know what God is." I'm like, "The fuck are you talking about? If I don't know what it is, then I can't say." "Yeah, you're right. I don't know what it is. That's why I don't believe in it." But what would it take for God to prove itself to me? The same thing as everything else: empirical evidence, repeatable test, valid and sound argument. How about that? No, you got, and Indians they're like, "Look, We already said what would prove God to us. What do you have for your proof? He's like, I need to call in for that. I'm like, dude, the show's called Call In to prove God to us, and you come in and you're not going to talk about what proves God. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. I kick him out so fast. So what is God? Well, it's not me that has that. I don't know. I don't claim anything about this thing. I don't make that claim. So it is the person who's proposing the idea that has the idea in question that they must demonstrate and prove is even a thing in the first place. And they can't do that with God. How do you know that God can do anything or do the logically possible things? God is very powerful. How do you know that God is very powerful? But that's what God is. Oh, no. How do you know that that's what God is? How did you find that out? They don't have an answer to that. Because the answer, of course, it says it in their holy book, or it says it in their traditions. That's what they believe about God. But it's not what they can demonstrate about God, because God itself, it's in the box. It's inside that box where we can't see it. We can't verify it. And we're not allowed to open the box. Now, the box might be empty, and in fact, when I shake it around, it appears to be empty, and it's very light of a box. And I'm not necessarily saying that there's nothing in the box, but I'm saying I don't know what is in the box. If there's anything, you're making all these claims about what's in the box, and I'm saying I don't believe your claims. Are you saying there's no in the box? I'm saying, well, depends what you claim is in the box. Some things that you could claim that are in the box couldn't be in the box, depending on, the box is the size of my hand. There's not an elephant in there. Unless you're talking about a really small elephant or a statue of an elephant or something ridiculous. But you would still need proof that that's in there, some proof, which is evidence, which he doesn't have. All right. Anyways, I know. Just play the video.
In this video, you're going to see 4 pieces of evidence that support the existence of a God. My name is Trevor, and I'm here to help young men like you grow and improve on your self-improvement journey. Many atheists believe that there is no...
I'm not sure if anyone but me can hear that, but there is water running in the background of his video. I am convinced that somebody is peeing during his video. If you can hear it, you're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know why I said that. If you couldn't hear it, you're welcome. Now you have to try to hear it. And nothing in my head, it was going to be a joke, but it didn't work. Never mind.
No proof that God exists. And that is actually true. Just like there's no proof that whenever you go to sleep tonight, your mom's not going to walk into your room and smash your face in with a hammer.
Well, I know that it's directed at younger people, but mortality sucks. So I have actually really good proof that that's not going to happen for myself. So
now, there is evidence to support the existence of God, just like there's evidence that your mom is not going to kill you. The first piece of evidence...
That is such nonsense. I already covered this, but such nonsense. Like, what the... whatever, okay.
Evidence is the creation of the universe.
So, see, question begging. He assumes that there's a creation, so of course there's a creation. You're starting with your conclusion. And there definitely is water in the background. Somebody is definitely peeing in this video. Maybe he is. I don't know. Or somebody running the water. I don't know.
The law of conservation of matter shows that matter cannot be...
The law of conservation of matter? What law is that? Law of conservation of matter. I've never heard of that law. What are you talking about? It'd be great if you had some citations for anything you're saying here.
Be created nor destroyed. So if matter cannot be created, then how was it created? I believe that in order to create something that cannot be created, you have to be outside of that thing. You have to be out.
That's nice. And I believe you're wrong. And we could believe all sorts of things all day long. Well, can you demonstrate? That's what matters, not what you believe.
Outside of a matter, which
You have to be outside of a matter so you don't exist. Got it.
would be God.
Okay, so he says that's God. Whatever's outside of matter, whatever that means, is God. How does he know that that's God? He doesn't demonstrate that it's God. He asserts that it's God.
Also look at the complexity of the universe, more specifically humans, and even more specifically, we can look at the human eye that has 300 million strings connecting the
Oh
eye
my
to
God. Wow, there's strings that connect the eye to the brain? Strings connect the eye to the brain. Huh, what kind of strings? Let's see. Um, hmm. Let's see. Do you mean optic nerves? Because those aren't strings. They're like video cables, this thing says. But that's not strings. You said strings. I don't know. Just saying, like, if you want to make a presentation for people and convince them that there is a God, maybe you want to be very technical in your terminology. I'm just saying. Yeah. And maybe turn off the fountain that's constantly pouring water in the background. I'm going to be complaining about this water throughout this video.
There was actually a doctor, I suppose he would be considered. I don't remember his name, but he said that in his testimony, he said that he converted to a Christian because he realized that the eye is so complex that it couldn't just develop by chance. And if
Yeah, so there's a creationist, Dr. Wong, whatever, is an eye surgeon, and he doesn't understand evolution, and that convinced him that there's a God, supposedly. And he wrote a book about it. And so I don't know how well he did in his actual field, because looking him up is very difficult. I found him, but I only found videos about him talking about him as a apologist and that he's a doctor. I couldn't find a single scientific paper that he's done or what he's done in science, so I strongly suspect that he's like many of these creationist scientists where he pretty much failed at his career and so he turned to doing apologetics instead. I could be wrong, but when I searched Dr. Wong, I was like, I couldn't find anything. But as you and I know, maybe there is a Dr. Wong. And maybe he was an atheist and converted into Christianity. But I know of a Dr. Wong that was a Christian that converted to an atheist. And as we both know, two Wongs don't make a right. That was bad. I apologize. I'm sorry for that. That was just
if the eye is such a small chance to just develop by an accident,
oh
what
no.
more is an entire human, is an entire planet, is an entire galaxy, is an entire universe? What is the chance of all of that coming into existence by a simple accident?
I don't have any idea because this is a loaded question. It is assuming that it came by a simple accident. So basically, he's saying, I don't know how it did it, therefore God. This is all this is, and it's appeal to ignorance and personal incredulity. He doesn't know, he thinks it's accident, therefore God. Okay, well, there's 10,000 some odd gods out there. So what are the odds by chance that you pick the right one? Well, 1 in 10,000, right? All right, and
I don't believe it's possible, and I believe that it is unreasonable.
he believes. There you go. He believes. That's your problem, baby. That's your problem right there, buddy. Buddy. That's your promise. Is you believe stuff. You don't have facts or data. You believe lots of things. I believe that water is going to drive me insane, and I believe that me mentioning water is going to irritate somebody at some point. So let's not talk about the water anymore and see how wet your argument is and wash up the. Well, oh, God.
To believe that it is. Number 2 is Jesus Christ.
Oh!
Now, if you claim that the Bible is misinformation and it is not historical evidence of Jesus Christ, then you must also then say the same thing for people like Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Isaac Newton, and pretty much everybody that lived before 1800 and many more other people.
I should have put on my webcam for this, so I can facially express my disdain for this nonsense that he just uttered. Okay, you're just gonna have to pretend that you can see my face. Pretend that I am hitting myself in the head multiple times with lobsters, blue sheep, stuffed sheep, sand seal, the Minecraft plastic thing, and the fucking frog. You know, because I can't even with that. I don't even know where to begin with that. The Bible is not a historical document, not even close. You're wrong. Moving on.
People. You could probably say that people that lived before 1900, but there might be someone that's still alive. And I believe that the gospel and other pieces of historical evidence that show us that Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Isaac Newton all did live.
Yes, Abraham Lincoln, Isaac Newton, George Washington all did live. But did you know that George Washington, when he was a little kid, went out in the backyard with an axe and chopped down a zombie that was going to attack his best friend Abraham Lincoln? But you didn't know that. You thought it was an apple tree. And his mother came out and said, did you cut down that zombie? He said, no, I cannot tell a lie. Which was kind of weird that he said it that way. Like, no, I cannot tell a lie. He just said, I cannot tell a lie. But that's how he said it. He was a young kid, you know. No, I cannot tell a lie. He showed the axe full of blood. I killed that zombie. And his mother grabbed the axe and said, I told you to let your father, Daryl Dixon, handle it. He said, okay, Carol. Okay, I'm sorry. He said, by the way, when are you guys going to go back to the future where you came from? And he said, well, you know, this is season 3 of the Daryl Dixon story, and they ran out of ideas, so now we're time traveling. And that's a very weird story, I know, but it actually happened, and it's all history. I guarantee it. I prove absolutely true. Yeah, it all happened for real. Yeah, sure. Why not?
That same historical evidence and that same way to prove that they exist is a way that we can use to prove that Jesus existed. And if the Bible is historical evidence that Jesus did exist, then it is also historical evidence that he did die and that he did rise again. And if I saw someone die and 3 days later they rose again, I would pay very close attention to what they said. The third piece of evidence is relative truth or true and false or morals, whatever you want to call it. Without a divine power, without a God to tell us what is right and what is wrong, that means truth is relative.
Oh, no. Oh, the appeal to consequence. Without a God to tell us what's right and wrong, then truth is relative. Oh, the humanity. Oh, no. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, my word. That must mean it's not that, because if it was that, that'd be really bad. So therefore, it must mean that that's not the way it is, because if it was, then, oh, I don't like it. Oh, no. Why can't I find my thing? Where is it? Where the hell is it? Hold on a second. All right, I'm trying to find something. Hold on. I'm all... All right, here we go. Here we go. Thank you, me. Thank you, other me. All right. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right. We have a creator of a robot who becomes sentient. The creator tells the robot to kill people, programs it into the robot. However, the robot learns through observations that killing equals the end of life. And so I said stuff, whatever, let's get to the clip. Okay. Killing is wrong.
Well, of course I know it's wrong to kill, but who told you?
I told me.
There you go. You don't need the creator to tell you what the hell is right or wrong. In fact, in this case, you had the creator tell him to kill, But he told himself, no, killing bad. You don't need that. You don't need to be told. You can figure it out. But maybe you do need to be told. Maybe you're dumb. I don't know. Oh, that's not a fair thing to say. You could be dumb and still need somebody to tell you what to do because you don't know what to do because you can't figure it out. Not because you're dumb, but for other reasons I can't think of off the top of my head that are not an insult at this moment. Anyways, at least you're not a robot, so there's that. Or maybe you are, because God told you what to do or not to do. Beep, boop, beep. Sounds like a robot. Sounds like you programmed. Sounds like we can't decide what's right or wrong on our own. And maybe it's arbitrary. So what? Who the fuck cares? And what makes it right or wrong? Because God said it. Oh, I'm God. Do it. Oh, why? Because I'm God. I said to do it. But why? Because why? Because I told you to. But what if I think it's wrong? Screw you, I'm God. Do it. All right, I guess I'll do it. Psych! Ah, you failed the test. Ah, you suck. You die now. Wait, what? Anyways. DCT, Divine Command Theory. You have a video called DCT. Explains how bad that system is. Check it out.
So what does that mean? That means that there is no right and wrong.
Oh, no!
And simply what is right and wrong to you is just an opinion.
Oh, no!
The reason I think this is not possible.
It's not possible!
Is because if I were to walk outside every single day, see someone get murdered or see someone steal something, I would.
If you walk outside every single day and you see someone get murdered and somebody steals stuff, I think you need to move. You know, just saying, it's not a very safe neighborhood. Where you live? Detroit? Anyways.
Not be able to every single day just look at that thing and say, well, it's not right, it's not wrong, whatever, it's fine, and just walk off. I would not be able to do that because I would think that that is wrong. Number 4 is evidence that the Bible is accurate. A recent piece of evidence, actually.
A recent piece?
Finding, I believe, was like wheels and wagons and other items that you would bring with you on land.
Yeah.
And they found that at the bottom of the Red Sea.
They did? When did that happen? And where? You mean the time that they didn't find this? And that this didn't happen? You mean that? You mean the colossal fraud that was attempted and shown to be a fraud? Are you talking about that time? Or are you talking about one of the many, many millions of times that somebody claimed something and then it was shown to not be there at all? Which claim are you talking about? Oh, you know what I'd love is a citation. Fuck! No citation! It's recent, though. Recent find bottom of Red Sea wheels. All right, come on. Come on. No. Oh, shit. Google said no immediately. Oh, man, but that was the AI part of Google. So that, I don't know if I can trust this. No, archaeologists have not found evidence for chariots or bones at the bottom of the Red Sea that would support the biblical account. Damn it! In 2018, hey, that's recent, sounds like, a false story was published by a satire site and picked up by other outlets because they're stupid. They claimed that archaeologists found chariots and bones in the Gulf of Suez. The story included a photo of divers holding a skull, which was actually from a 2014 National Geographic article about a skeleton found in a Mexican cave. Oh, is that what he's talking about? I wonder if that's what he's talking about. Ah, man, I wish I knew. If only he had cited his resource, we would know for sure. Are you, what, are you talking about the time when they didn't find anything at the bottom of the Red Sea? Because I couldn't. That story. I love it. It's so great. You never have to give citation for anything. Hey, there's a story I heard about. Yeah, it happened a while ago. They found a UFO in my bathtub last week. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I can just say stuff. I don't have to cite anything. Yeah, just say stuff. Yeah, that's how you do politics. You just say stuff. Hey, Rochester Swift is a Martian. I know. Amazing, isn't it? He's a Martian. He came from Mars, and he did. Yeah. And the Kentucky Atheist, good guy, real great guy, best guy. You could hang out with him. He'll play darts with you. Now, what that means is he'll pick you up and throw you like you are a dart at a giant dartboard. The dartboard's made out of foam. It's actually really fun. But he calls it human darts, and he's able to do that because he's just that strong. And also, he's a giant, so he can pick you up and throw you really easily. It's amazing. And you can't prove that isn't true because nobody has seen the Kentucky Atheist. So it's totally true. Yeah, sure, you can just say stuff. That's how it works now. You can just say all sorts of stuff. Fan Talks Mix 11. You know, that person, whoever the hell that is, I've never seen in my chat before, said, but he's fun in regards to how fun I am at parties. And my party trick is I can take off my head and sit on it, and then I can eat myself and spit myself back out and reassemble myself. It's an amazing party trick. I can only do it on every other Tuesday if the moon is blue. So all of these things are absolutely true, and I don't have to give a single citation at all for them. Trust me, bro. It's real. Yeah. Also, I almost forgot to once again complain about the water!
Which is supporting evidence that Moses really did take the slaves from Egypt and bring them across the Red Sea. The fifth thing is the Bible's accuracy in predicting the future. 300 prophecies were made in the Old Testament of the Bible.
Over 300? No! This is Sparta! Oh, I'm sorry. No, 300 prophecies weren't made in the Bible. So Torah prophecies. So if you want to know about the Torah prophecies, you need to talk to a Jewish person, a Jewish rabbi, probably, because they'll tell you what are or are not, let's see. Let's see if I can find a thing. Yes, this looks Jewish to me. So let's look at this website. It looks Jewish because it says G-D. They don't like writing God. They don't even like writing Lord, L-R-D. So that looks pretty damn Jewish to me. So let's see. I wonder if they count them or they're just talking about them. Let's see. Is there like a count? Like how many are there? No, I don't know. Oh well, whatever. Good enough for me. There's a website. Those are the Torah prophecies according to that website. Good enough for me. I don't think it's 300. But the reason you think that is the number is because some idiot somewhere said that was the number and you believe that idiot and you didn't verify that those are actually prophecies in the first place. Now here's the thing. I want you to imagine, again, I love using my imagination, maybe this kid does too, maybe he, uses it a bit much, like imagining that he's going pee as he's talking. He's been going pee this entire time. That's what I've been imagining in regards to this video because the water. And I've complained about that at least 80 times. If you've counted how many times I've complained about it, let me know in the comments below. Anyways. Man, I should have put a webcam on. Why did I do that? I don't know. I blame Thomas Kentucky. That's what I do. Yes, as you know, Thomas Rutledge and Kentucky Atheists, they actually have become one organism now called Thomas Kentucky. That's right. I can just say stuff and pretend it's true. It's great.
Every single one of those was fulfilled by Jesus. And I believe that since the Bible has no contradictions, not just over 300 prophecies.
No contradictions, not a single one. Yeah, I love that. You believe that. Yeah, you know. The millions of contradictions, those don't count. It is insanely easy to write a book that has 0 contradictions in it. That doesn't prove anything, even when it's true. But what I find hilarious is when people insist that the Bible doesn't have contradictions when it clearly does. It's like, just admit that they're there, dude. We know what they are. We have a chart. It's like, what is it? It's all that. Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's so beautiful. I love this image. I don't know who made this. I have to find out. But it's so beautiful. It's just, I'm sure you guys, girls and robots, have all seen it. But we'll put it up anyways, because it's just so great. This is an interactive version of the Bible contradictions. So, yeah, just a few. All these lines, just a few. Those are just the contradictions. And then this thing says scientific absurdities and historical inaccuracies, and it shows that too. Wow, that's so it's like, it's just, that's amazing. It's just so great. I love this. This is so great. And just, humans have free will. There we go. It's just out of curiosity. So what do we got here? We have Deuteronomy 30:19. I've set before you life and death. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Blessing and cursing, therefore choose life. Whatever. I don't care how you say his name. 24:15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you will this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served, or were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites, who were in the land you deal. But as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. So that's yes. We do have free will. No, we don't have free will. Jeremiah 10:23. Oh Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in the man that walketh to direct his steps. Acts 13:48. And when the Gentiles heard this, they were glad and glorified the word of the Lord, as many of them ordained to eternal life believed. Romans, Ephesians. So, man, the no's outweigh the yes. So I think that actually we don't have free will. That's what I would conclude based on that. Anyways, but there's no contradictions. Sure,
And everything else, in all of its 66 books of the Bible, there is not a single contradiction. All of it lines up, and all of it is true. I believe because of that proves that the Bible is real. Or it's
okay, so we're using the metric that there's no contradictions and that everything lines up, and that means that something is true. Well then, my friend, you all know where this is going. Come on, you have to know by now. Say it. Say my name. Come on. You know where this is going, right? Come on. Right? You know. All right? Ready? Come on. You're going to get so excited to be right. Yes, the lobsterist. I challenge you to find a single contradiction in this. There are 0 contradictions, and everything aligns with everything in this book. So that must mean that the lobsterist is true, because that's the metric that we're using to decide things. And as far as prophecy, that's tons of prophecies in there. Yeah, just tons. Read it. Look, the moment you read the lobsterist, you will understand why and how it's true. And if you don't, then I'll know that you didn't read it. So only by reading it will I know that you've read it, and I dare you to refute the lobsterist. Nobody has done it. No one has refuted the lobsterist, and that must mean it's true. Nobody but me has even made a video about the lobsterist. Nobody has read it online from start to finish and tried to debunk it. It hasn't happened yet, so that must mean it's true. Yeah, must mean it's true until somebody does it. I'm going to keep doing this until somebody does it. And then I'm going to do it. I'm going to enjoy the video that does do that. And then I'm going to do it anyways because, whatever. We're almost done with this nonsense.
Evidence that the Bible is real. I'm sure there are many more other pieces of evidence supporting the Bible. And there is not a single piece of evidence that I have seen that supports atheism. You may not be able to prove God's existence, but you can.
A single piece of evidence to support atheism shows that you do not know what the word atheism is. What the hell do you mean a single evidence to support evidence? Man, it just makes no sense at all. Oh, by the way, for those of you who want a historic moment on Deconverted Man, we've now experienced it in chat. I don't like to ban people. I really don't. I dislike it, actually. Also, I don't know how to unban people, by the way. When you ban them on StreamYard, like you also ban them on YouTube, but their name doesn't appear in YouTube's list of people that you've banned. So I don't know how to unban if I ban them while I'm here doing this. And I just banned Wesley Curry, the bot. So he's gone and he's never coming back. And I don't know how to undo that. Oops. Oh, well. Anyways. But you know what? That invitation for him to talk to me is still on the table. He can email me, deconvertedman1 at gmail.com, and he can set up a time and day to talk to me, and I will talk to him live as a human being because I'm tired of him being a robot in chat. So that's why he got banned, and I can't undo it. I don't know how. Maybe somebody could tell me how to do it so I can undo it later because I don't like doing it, but sometimes it happens every now and then, not often. I don't like doing it. All right. Anyways, so yeah, that was a historic moment in Deconverted Man's history that I'll forget about. Now, we're almost done listening to the water running in this guy's video, so let's finish up.
And also not disprove his existence.
Yeah, that's a bug, not a feature. There has to be something that could disprove God's existence. So you have to have a way to falsify it, or it doesn't count. So what thing could you point to that doesn't count as evidence for God? If you can't do that, then God isn't a thing at all. So if you think that God can't be falsified, that's actually a bug in the feature, not a feature. It's a bug, not a feature. Okay, got it? All right. You need a way to falsify God. It's bad that you don't have a way to falsify it. But yes, actually, since you said that, I could, depending on what you say God is. So you've said a lot of things about God in this video. And based on the things that you've said God is, I could potentially come up with an argumentation that demonstrates that version of God is logically impossible. But it depends upon whether you're willing to stick to those things being true about God or not. Because you could always decide to say, oh, no, that's not what God's really like. Or you could find some loophole to get out of it or whatever. But yes, hypothetically, I could do it, but you have to tell me everything that you think God is, so then I can do it. But you didn't do that in this video, not in full. I could make a partial argumentation that would go a pretty good long way. Anyways, almost done listening to the water run. Let's finish with the water, and then we can be done. Well, we'll not be really done. We'll be kind of done, because I have more things to say. And then we'll really be done this time, maybe. All right.
And it is because of the overwhelming evidence for Christianity and the lack of evidence for atheism that I am a Christian.
No, that's not the reason that you're a Christian. You're a Christian because your parents or people around you were Christians, introduced you to Christianity. You accepted those ideas with little to no question, and you maintain that belief in spite of and despite of the evidence to the contrary, which you haven't bothered looking into because you are indoctrinated and wish to maintain that indoctrination. How do I know all this? I don't know all this, but remember, as established before, we can make all sorts of claims so we don't have to prove. No citation required.
It's time to do the hard work, starting now.
All my friends, foes, and otherwise, whatever you might be, whether you are in chat or not, maybe you're listening to this later on. You turn me on as background noise and you're doing laundry or, I don't know, fixing dinner or, I don't know, whatever you're doing as you listen to me. Did we learn anything? Well, I don't know. What I learned is that this kid, this young man, I don't say kid. I say that because I'm 45. Okay, I can call anybody a kid now. That I've earned that right by becoming the age of 45. Okay, I can call anybody a kid that's not my age. That is the rule. You didn't know it, but you get told that rule when you turn 45. Okay, this young man is confused. This young man has been indoctrinated. This young man has fallen for the apologetics that exist online. And he probably wants to make a name of himself. And hey, props to you, man. All power to you for making a name of yourself in this world. Hey, I hope you do success, on YouTube and get money from it and stuff so you can buy yourself a better camera. Because your camera is like super fuzzy. It looks like you made your video like in the 1980s or something with a bad webcam. And I should know, my webcam is really bad. I've had it for years and I haven't replaced it yet because I haven't. I don't really have a reason. I just haven't done it. But I got a new microphone. So, hey, cool. But not a new webcam yet. But I will eventually, some point, maybe. I don't know. Atheism and resurrection of the kind. Right, yeah. Right. So, disproving atheism, all you'd have to do that is show that there's a God, which you didn't do. Not even close. None of the things that you think are evidence for God. They're evidences of things that you think are evidences for God. And you also think things about God that themselves have no evidence for them. So you have a concept of what God is. That concept of what God is needs evidence to show that that's what indeed God is. But what you're doing is saying, well, these are the attributes that God has because they are, and working from that backwards, I'll make my arguments about those things. But that's not demonstration. You need to show that the thing is a thing. We need to know what's in the box. What's in the box? What's in the box? That's what we need to know. Is it a human head? I don't know. Could be a human head. Or maybe, if God is in the box, I desperately need you to open the box so we can see God and examine God and test God and probe God. But we can't do that. Why? Well, I don't know. Lots of reasons, potentially. But I think, and it's just me, I believe, maybe I could say that. I don't know what kind of words I want to put. But I think that God is a concept that is in your brain and in my brain to some extent. And your concept of God has come from religion, as have the gods of every other human pretty much, or if not from a religion, then from a cult and or from their own ideas. And the things of God that you think God are or are not are all contained in your brain. They are nowhere else. They're not demonstrably demonstratable, and I love saying that phrase in that way, so leave me alone about it. They're not verifiable. God can do anything. Really? Show me that. Huh. Can't do that. That's interesting. God is everywhere. Really? Why can't I see it? God is invisible. How do you know that? God knows everything. How do you know that? God made the universe. How do you know that? God is the moral authority. How do you know that? How do you know what God is in the first place? And the actual honest answer is you don't. Or, you get the ideas from somebody else that told you that those were the things that God is. I'm telling you now, I think God is an idea that's in the head, in the brain, and nowhere else. I could be wrong about that idea, but unlike your idea, I actually have indications to show that my idea is correct, which means not only do I have proof and evidence, but actually I can demonstrate it. But you probably wouldn't care about that because it's logic, reason, and science. We don't need that because all we have is faith here. And when you have faith, the facts just don't matter. But when you have facts, you don't need faith. And I don't need faith. I need empirical evidence, repeatable tests, valid and sound argument. And unless and until we have one of those things, I suggest we be skeptical. That is, to hold in question the idea until we have better argument or actual data to examine. Until then, maybe there is, but maybe there isn't. But just tell us, show us.
I'll take the box! The box! You take the box! Let's see what's in the box! Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
Now, well, until next time, be skeptical. And after that, stay skeptical. Also, B.S. Lewis is a anime chick that's super mega hot. You can't prove that wrong. Bye, everybody!